My name is Quentin D'Souza. I am the Chief Education Officer of the Durham Real Estate Investment Club. You're watching Real Deal Renos. This is a series of videos showing real estate investors in the local area how they're investing in real estate, what type of renovations they're doing, and how they're able to make cash flow. And you can do it too. Hi Colin, thanks for having us out today for the Real Reno series. I wanted to find out a little bit about why you decided on this particular area.
Well, we had a property in this area prior, and we like the area, and it's very family oriented, being near a public school, and there's grocery stores and things like that, just a walking distance up the street. And it's an area that is highly rented, so that's why we selected the area.
Excellent. And so what kind of would you say your tenant profile is for this particular property?
We tend to try and find young families, and we find them the most reliable, and there seems to be a lot of that in this area.
A lot of young families and
wanting to move in these areas and to stay close to their parents that are in the area and that sort of thing, get free babysitting, etc.
All right, free babysitting always works.
Yeah.
And the schools, there's a lot of schools around here and parks and that sort of thing.
Yeah, there is, and it's actually a short walk to a really nice beach down in the area too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of amenities that for those people who are renting here.
Right, and they don't necessarily have to drive a vehicle, which helps them a lot from a financial perspective.
Oh, okay, so is it right along the bus route?
It's right along the bus route, and like I said, there's grocery stores. There's all the amenities are here for them.
Oh, that's perfect. Great, and maybe you could run through a few of the numbers with us. First of all, if you were to have just purchased this property as a single family home, what do you think you would have rented for when you bought it as a single family home?
The upstairs was rented prior, and I think it would have been valued at around $1,150, $1,200 a month, including utilities. And the downstairs wasn't rented at all, so we really don't know what it is, but I'd speculate it'd be around $900.
Okay. And then now that you've done renovations to the property, what are the type of rents you're looking at?
Well, we did paint entirely upstairs and new flooring and a couple of windows and things like that. And now it's renting for $1,450 a month, including utilities.
Okay.
And this downstairs apartment is going to go for $1,150.
$1,150 a month, including utilities.
Including utilities. Yeah.
And what do you think, like cash flow wise, you'll be making every month on this property? Do you estimate?
We estimate that we're going to cash flow around $500 a month on this property.
Excellent. And then, so that's not including like vacancy repairs. It's just your raw cash flow.
That's our raw cash flow.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, that's great. I just like to do apples to apples.
Yeah, exactly. We try to take care of any potential problems, so we don't really have to deal with anything, at least for a couple of years.
Great. So you're renovating the property to the point where you're not having to deal with renovation issues and repairs and things like that.
Yeah, like I did faucets and things like that upstairs because there was signs that they were starting to give up.
Right. So you took care of it all. And one of the things you mentioned is that you included utilities. Why do you include utilities into your rents?
We like to include utilities into the rent because there's only one gas meter, there's only one hydro meter on the house, and you get one bill for the water. So if we manage it ourselves, one, we know that it's always being taken care of and nobody gets behind on the payment, and two, it's difficult to split it, and you end up with sometimes disputes between tenants whether I don't use this much hot water, they have 3 adults upstairs and I'm one person, this type of thing. So we just take care of it ourselves and manage it that way. And it's worked out for the most part. It's very rare that we've had a problem because of that.
Okay. And do you mind sharing some of the bigger numbers on the property? Like,
sure.
So the purchase price, amount of renovations that you went into it, and what your end value you think you are after you've done those renovations?
Yeah, it's my partner Karen Jackson is really the business person in the relationship, and my wife, we for the most part. We paid under $240 for the place. Yeah. And Karen was saying the other day that she thinks it will probably come in reappraised around $340. Now this is in the southern end of the town, so it generally doesn't hold the real high rates, but I think they're starting to get up there for sure.
Well, what do you think renovation-wise, like just as a rough estimate, do you think
we've actually, because I do all the work myself, besides I paid my son for a month and a half a very low wage. And
is that food and
yeah, it's
and
food
beer,
and it's flight to get here and many other things, and use my car for a month and this sort of thing. But no, he really helped me out a lot, and I also bring a friend in occasionally.
Right.
And I actually have a couple of students that I hire from the high school,
right,
and to do painting and things like that for me, and they love to come because they're too young to get a job in the job market because they're under 15 years old.
Right.
But these kids can be made into pretty good painters, as you can see. So I do a little bit of that as well. And but mostly I do it all myself. I manage the project myself, and we're going to come in around for upper and lower around 25 grand in this place.
Whoa, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So what you're basically saying is that are you going to refinance it, or are you just going to leave it as is?
We'll probably wait till the mortgage matures. I think we've set it up for a year. We've only owned it for 6 months. We may consider refinancing it at that point. We generally do, and we take the cash out and put it into another property.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. You know, rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you got the lift that you've already, put into this property, and then after the refi, you're probably taking all your money out and making some money.
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
vacation or something. Another car for your son, maybe. No, let's take that out.
Yeah.
But that's great. Yeah. It's a good approach to things, and it allows you to continue going. And
right.
Is that something that you've done before?
We have. We've refinanced. We've done 2 other properties that we made into legal duplexes. Sorry, 3, and on all 3 occasions we've refinanced them after. The third, 2 of them we've refinanced already. 1 we're about to in the next few months. And
how do you feel about the process of doing it over and over? Do you find that you're getting better and better as you go along?
Oh yeah, for sure. And we're better at buying the properties as well, and you can immediately see what has potential and what doesn't, and what the barriers are. Yeah. And I'm not a carpenter or anything by trade, but I've learned a lot from it. Now, I did work with my hands 20 years ago, so I'm quite comfortable that way, but I didn't know the building trade until the last 8 years, except for my own home renovation stuff like basement refinishing and things like that.
Yeah, and as you do more and more of them, it just becomes easier.
And there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of people like yourself that we can talk to if we have a question. And my son being an electrician doesn't hurt either. All these sort of things. Yeah.
The little things that you can do to save money too. Over time, it just helps, right? And, that's good.
Well, you purchase things in bulk, for instance, and often I have something in my garage or in our storage shed.
Right.
This type of thing that I use, like sinks and faucets. I ended up with too many, or laminate flooring or ceramic tile that I have left over from another property. This type of thing. So. It works out. And appliances, of course, you never have enough appliances.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
We pick them up quite often too.
Excellent. And so, can we do a little walk through the property? Yeah. We're in the basement unit, and I know upstairs is already rented, taken care of, covering your costs as you're finishing off down here. Mm-hmm. So what do we have here? We've come down from the side entrance into this main area. So here's your kitchen.
Yeah, this is our kitchen here. It's not real large, but I was looking at it this morning and thinking there's actually room for a small island here, and maybe a couple of bar stools that you could sit in. We're putting an electric stove in, and that's all been wired for that. Compliments of my son. Countertops aren't finished yet, but we're getting there.
I mean, you can even fit a small table. Actually.
Yeah, you can fit a small table in this area here for sure. Yeah. There's some options. We just buy the Lowe's kitchen cabinets that are pre-assembled and just install them ourselves.
Yeah,
it's nice and quick, and laminate countertops.
Yep. So we got 2 bedrooms in here, and they're decent sized bedrooms.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're like 120 square feet each, and they'll do the job. You can get a double bed in there and maybe a dresser or 2, but it's not huge, but it's a good place to sleep.
over here is your other bedroom, and
Yeah,
notice that
exactly.
we have a nice big window with a window well. So is that your egress for this for the property?
Right, it's an egress for this side of the building,
Right.
and we have to have egress for all areas of the apartment downstairs. So we put that one in ourselves, and it's actually a double pane that swings out both windows, so it's easy access for people, and you can feel somewhat assured that people are safe down here if there is a fire.
Maybe you can explain what you mentioned about because of the height here. This is obviously not what we're talking about ceiling height wise, but you have an egress here, and so you're saying that this side of the property, that's the egress for this side.
Yeah, exactly. Well, being a bungalow, all bungalows have the beam down the center of the house,
Yeah.
which generally you lose the ceiling height under the beam. And the old houses, they installed all the furnace ducting alongside that runs parallel with the beam in general. So there's your problem right away that you have to deal with. Because we couldn't move all of the ducting, because you still have to have the heat to access the back of the house, although we did get it raised quite a bit here, we had to have a second egress for escape of that area of the house. Everything on this side of the house is on the other side of the beam, so it's not a problem. And then we did raise the beam in one area, so there is a path from this side to go either egress or out the main door. So you have the required ceiling height in every area of the house.
Excellent. And I noticed when you're talking about venting, that you've done something kind of unique here. Like when you look at the walls and you look at the windows, we've got a lot more space between the wall and the window, and that's not natural. So, but you've got you've got your heat vents on the walls. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about why you did that.
Well, in order to solve the heat problem, and with the beam running down the center of the house, your floor joists are going to run the opposite direction because they actually sit on the beam. So there's no way to run the heat ducting the length of the house up in the floor joists. So you really don't have any choice except to either lose the ceiling height in some area or move it to the wall. And we've chosen 2 occasions now to keep the ceiling height. We lost approximately 16 inches of room size to accommodate the ducting, and it works out quite well for us. You do have to restrict it down quite a bit because it is driving, because it's near the furnace. It can drive all the heat into this space rather than upstairs. But you can always bring an expert guy in to put baffles in the ducting as well.
Yeah, I mean, because usually when you see these, you see the ducting on the ceiling, but heat rises. So having the ducting on the wall, I'm sure, creates even more flow of
it makes it
air.
more comfortable living space.
Yeah, that's great. Can you tell us a little bit about what you did in the bathroom? Because it's a nice little bathroom.
Yeah, it's your standard 5x5 bathroom, but it's not too bad. We found a nice little vanity that fit nicely in there and looks a little like more modern. And
big tiles in the tub.
compliments of my son. We got the tiling done while he was here, and he did a good job of that for his first tiling job. And all in all, it's a nice little space, and it should suit them quite good for the amount of people that will be living in this space.
Yeah, very good. What do you picture as the tenant profile here in the basement unit?
Well, it's hard to say. Generally we probably a young couple.
Yeah.
Perhaps, like I said, we try to find couples more so than 3 guys or 3 teenage women or singles. Generally older. Helps a lot. You're looking for reliability of paying the rent, right? That's the main thing that we try and focus on. And so that's generally it. We have a young family in one of the basement apartments that we also own, and they've been great for 3 years. So I guess you can't really say, but it's younger couples, whether they have children or not.
Okay.
Maybe a first one or 2 children, it works.
Great.
Yeah. There's
All
enough
right.
living space for a family here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like you've got all your mechanicals in your mechanical room here. You got it nicely, everything fit in. So that's great. So you're getting good heat upstairs and good heat downstairs from your system.
Yeah, exactly, and it's balancing the distribution of the upper and lower floors. That's always a little bit of a challenge, but it just takes a little time. Yeah, I actually have a thermometer down here right now, so I'm watching where we are, and upstairs I know they have it. I talked to him yesterday. He said he had it set at 70 all the time, so I'll balance it out and we'll go from there. But yeah, it worked out pretty good. It looks a little congested, but for the most part, it's maintenance free. It's ductwork,
right.
And we made sure that the hot water heater is accessible to for any maintenance going forward, and also the furnace. You can get to the circuit board and filter and sort of things like that.
What about cleaning out the furnace? Is there anything different when you blow out the furnace for cleaning, or is it?
No, not really. In fact, it's a little bit easier,
Oh, okay.
if anything, because basically 90% of the ductwork is here and down that wall.
Oh,
So they can access everything through those vents.
excellent.
Yeah.
Now, what you said that the outside needed some work too. What did you do on the outside of the?
Yeah,
property?
we had a little bit of a water problem in the basement here when we first purchased it. There was actually there was some framed walls down here already, and we ripped them out because they had been wet, and we didn't want any sign or smell of mold down here. And as you can tell, there's nothing here now. We took all that out, and we had a weeping tile problem outside. And like a lot of these houses that are over 50 years old, the weeping tile is it's old and it's clay, and it's iffy. Sometimes they get crushed or clogged or whatever. And so we did the weeping tile on about 50% of the house along the front, where that was the only area that we had a problem.
Right.
And we actually water tested all the back and the side ourselves, and had no issue there. But even with that in mind, and the age of the house, we decided to put the raised flooring in, the subfloor. So it keeps the floor. It's a lot warmer on the feet for tenants, and for the money it costs, I think it's a good investment down the road. If water does weep in somewhere, it will run under that floor because that's all waterproof and plastic on the bottom of those units, and it goes straight to the floor drain.
Great.
So to me, it's a nice little insurance policy.
Excellent. Yeah, for the extra $1,000 for
exactly.
for flooring, right?
Yeah,
Or
we haven't
subfloor.
done it in the past, and I've kind of regretted it. When I walked on the floor myself in the cold winter, like -20, I noticed the basement floor is quite cool if it stays like that for a couple of weeks. So I decided that we would go that route.
Okay.
And if you get good tenants, you want to keep them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're trying to create good rental properties for 20 years, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm in the customer satisfaction business in a different industry, so I really think a lot of that also when I'm doing things within our real estate and tenants too.
Great. Yeah, I mean, they're your clients, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
They're
you
paying the mortgage for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping the property nice, maintaining the property, and after 20 years they leave.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. Hopefully, that'd be great. Well, you can't raise the rent as much as you want.
Yeah, well.
It'd be fine.
So this is the living area down in here, right?
Yeah, this is the living area down in here, and it's approximately 10 feet wide, but it's closer to 16, 17 feet long. So it's a fair bit of space here as well. And that's why we were able to give up some of the width for the ducting. We'd rather have the ceiling height clear all the way across. For someone like your height, you want to have that.
Right. Okay. Great. It looks like a great space. This definitely sounds like a good deal. I'm gonna give you a high five
All
on
right.
this one.
Thanks very much.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good cash flow, good numbers. Get all your money out. You can rinse and repeat. Do it again. You can invest 100 times.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the intention.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
All right.
Thanks
Thanks very
Colin, for
much.
having us.